Desert Island Discs on 91.3 Capital FM.
Someone once said that orange juice is like duct tape. It fixes everything. Now you imagine if you've got juice coming in from every foot you can possibly imagine. On the program, Desert Island Discs, on this special Sunday, we have a special guest. And we are talking about juice, juicing, and squeezing out that creative juice in you. Now there must be too much juice that you're hearing from my end. I mean, I can't avoid it. I am with the man himself that is credited for putting his name to a brand of well-refined, local, authentic Ugandan juice, Dalausi Juice. But his actual name is Dalausi Lutale. Good evening, welcome to the program, Mr.
Thank
Lutale.
you. I'm humbled to be here with you people. Dalausi Lutale is my name.
Dalausi Lutale, everybody that I possibly know has had a taste of your very tantalizing juice. Today on the program, I invite you to share with us your life story. Look at you. When I heard of Dalausi juice, my mental imagination of what Dalausi looks like. It's a big, short, fat man, old, everything cheffy. But look at what I'm seeing with you. Suave and debonair young man. Tell us more about yourself.
Like you said, Dalausi Lutale is my name from Dalausi Juice. It's quite a long story. It started with my dad. He was suffering from cancer. That was in my senior 6 vacation. It so happened that they needed someone in the hospital specifically to juice for the patient. For those who don't know, any treatment, the first treatment to any cancer patient is juicing, natural juicing. So my role was to juice from Zay. So that was my senior 6 vacation. That's 9 months down the road doing nothing. So I was taken to Jomo Kenyatta Hospital in Nairobi, specifically to juice for my dad. So they used to take us for lectures. If your patient is suffering from this type of cancer, juice for him some beetroot, juice for him watermelon, we crush the seeds, don't put sugar. Definitely for my juice, I used to put sugar, but for his, I didn't put sugar. But it so happened that as life moved on, I had to come back for campus. I'd applied for law, but I wasn't able to go for the pre-entry exams. So I had to go for the second alternative, which was development economics. So 2011, I started my campus at MOOC. Unfortunately, at the end of my first year, I passed on. Life can never be the same. Like, you know, it's a family. That man had 36 kids.
36?
One man like
Later
this.
on, you became
My position was this. I was the last born, so everyone is my elder now. You know, life has to go on. Now you grow up, you want it or you don't want it. So I had a sister in one day here. She had a boutique. So I was doing the day program. Every lunchtime I used to slope down there for lunch. And she was like, you know what, Dalausi, life has changed. I have a boutique, but you can use that balcony out there to make something. I started with plastics. Plastics, you know, profit on plastics is like 300 shillings
on a piece.
But in a semester, someone who could buy a cup would buy after 4 months of the semester. That is if the other one is lost. So every evening I could dust the plastics without selling. So scanning around the environment from my economics at MOOC, every lunchtime I used to come down to the boutique. They used to send me for sodas, water for their lunch. At the end of the day, they tell you, you also get yourself a drink in the remaining balance. So I was like, why don't I bring the sodas and water they send for me every lunchtime here so that I sell to them? So I got a small loan from my mom. It was 700,000, and I bought a fridge from Katwe, a small one. I still have it.
Wow.
I'll show it to you. So that 700, I bought a fridge with 2 crates of soda, 1 Pepsi Cola products and 1 Coca-Cola products, and a box of water. So every lunchtime, I supplied myself that free hour in campus. So at the end of the day, realizing profits, 1 crate of soda, 24 bottles, the profit is 1 bottle. But I could sell a crate in like 3 days. I don't know if you're getting the point.
So 500 shillings.
500 shillings
in 3 days.
In 3 days. But, like any other business, some don't pay, some people take lunch with the sodas, they don't pay,
exactly.
some lose the bottles, you have to look up for them, take them to the depot. But from the demand of the public, people used to ask for different varieties. Dalausi, don't you have some called bushera? For us, we want bushera. Don't you have some munanansi? So it was one day, people asked me for juice. Remember reaping from the previous experience in the hospital, I knew how to make the juice. The only difference is some fruits in Kenya are not available here in Uganda. But you have to study which fruits you have, get recipes from the ones you have here, and then make your own juice from Uganda. That first 5 liter I made, before even freezing, it was done in like an hour.
What?
Let me have a taste. How much is it? Before even getting to know the normal price you need to charge, 5 liter has 15 glasses. It was done just in minutes. Let me taste. This is good. Add me some more. So I went back to the market. From that day, I stopped buying sodas because I used to get profit. That 15,000 I got from that 5 liter, I just used 8,000 as input.
So you are getting a profit of over 80%.
That is 100%, because you're putting 8,000 shillings and then you're getting 15. That is almost 100. So from that time up to now, I'm into juicing. How did it escalate? That I concentrated too much on what people liked.
You'll be telling us the details of the growth of Dalausi juice. But what we know for sure, you've just shared with us the birth of Dalausi juice.
Exactly.
Interesting perspectives. Out of a tragedy, that you are nursing your father in a hospital, and then out of a necessity where you needed to make some ends meet, and you said, wait a minute, I have to answer this call.
Exactly.
Saying we need juice. On this program, Dalausi will play our music. What will be your first song? But after your first song, you certainly have to tell us the birth of you. You've told us about the birth of Dalausi juice. But we want to know also the birth of Dalausi Lutale, the 36th kid of his father.
My first song would be Ndikuwachi by Palasco. It has a very strong message in there if you listen to it.
What's the message? Just preempt it.
Ndikuwachi, what can I offer you, my Lord? What can I do in everything you've given me, in all the aspects of life you've made me travel through? What can I offer? I'm thinking about it, but I can't imagine it, because you're the Lord, you're the sole proprietor, you're the sole everything, you're the sole provider. It's just thanking you, Lord, and ask for more blessings.
Tremendous. Ndikuwachi by Palasco, chosen by Lutale Dalausi here on 91.3 Capital FM's Desert Island Discs. Now even bigger and better, simulcasting on YouTube.
Desert Island Discs on 91.3 Capital FM.
Zijukizanga nti plan zoze zisinga bwenkusobyanga lamuza kisatyo tondeka kugwayo.
91.3 Capital FM, Desert Island Discs on this wonderful Sunday. And yes, listening to the story of Dalausi Lutale. If you know Dalausi juice, then you will know and like this man. If you haven't had a taste of Dalausi juice, you haven't taken any juice worth its name. Dalausi, you just told us the birth of Dalausi juice, although you didn't even call it Dalausi juice then. Now let's know the birth of you and then get back to the growth of Dalausi juice. When were you born? Where were you born? To whom were you born?
I was born to a very beautiful lady called Hanifa Lutale, wife to the late Asad Lutale in Butambala. That is where Butambala Chivivi, exactly. Yeah, like I told you, the gentleman had 36 kids and I'm the last born. I'm so proud of it, by the way. I have very many mothers and fathers, like Muslim families, but those two people, mom and dad, dad passed on, I think it's now 7 years. Oh yeah, in Butambala, but then my mom resides in Mukono. Mukono, Kasao Sub-County. I'm also a youth leader, Kasao Sub-County,
Oh, you are?
LC3.
My goodness.
LC3, yeah, Chitunku village. Oh yeah, that is where I was born in 1992. Right now I'm 28 years.
Very much younger than the brand. 28 years.
28 years. It's some good, it's some good years.
You don't want to know what I was doing 28 years ago. Just know I was a teenager.
Oh, wow. So in Kasao, that's where I started my journey, schooling, those 2 infant years, nursery and top class. Then after, Dad was asked for some scholarship in Bombo Barracks. So I went to Bombo Barracks Primary School for my primary school.
And you know you can connect from Kasao to Bombo.
To
a
Bombo,
back road,
exactly,
like
to Bombo. It's very near. So that is where I
come out
finished
from
my...
Mowglis and then come back.
True. That's where I finished my primary level. I joined Chibuli Secondary School.
Just you're taking us to our speed, as they say. Take us back to the home of your good mother in Kasao. Were you her only child or did you have other siblings?
Oh, I have some other that woman has 7 kids. 7 kids.
And again, you were the last of them.
Exactly. I was the last. I'm the general last.
Spoiled, pampered, or raised strictly like a man should?
Raised strictly like a man should be, because it is typically a village setting. Dad was a soldier at the same time, Manara DC, so he had elements of leadership and he was very strict religiously. So, born in a balanced, modern and peasant, I don't know, how can I term it?
A combination of both.
Combination of both. So I was in the modern setting and then the village setting.
So were you waking
combined.
up to do domestic chores?
Oh yeah.
Do you know how to cook for yourself as a boy?
It was the type of family where mom could show you a paddock of land specifically for you for that same day. It was 7 kids down the road, boys and girls, and you had to make all those house chores. So being the last born, I didn't have any chance for childish behaviors. You had to look at your elder brothers and sisters to have an example, to do what they are doing. Immediately. In fact, that is maybe where I got the leadership skills from. Because in primary, I was the timekeeper from P4 to P7. High school, senior 1, I was the junior prefect up to senior 2. Senior 3, senior 4 was a house captain, Luangula House in Chivoli Secondary School. At the same time, a CAMSA secretary CAMSA secretary was a position for old people in HSC, but I got that position in Form 3 up to Form 4. From there, I went to Kawempe Muslim Secondary School. I was a leader from Kwazambogo Club. I was the chairman, in fact, the founder of the club in school, and at the same time, a head boy in my Form 5 and 6. So I think I depict that from my elder sisters and brothers who gave me the example of to be an old man at a tender age. From there, I went to youth leadership in my place there in Chitunku, Kasao. And from there at campus, I was a guild representative, at the same time, an international guild representative.
Okay, wait a minute. You are such a tremendous leader. So in this election that's coming up,
Jews took over everything now. The leadership is in Jews. Maybe if there is any ministry for Jews, I'll be a minister for Jews.
That's a very interesting one.
Exactly.
And so you go to this school that is in a Bombo. Of course, find different set of environments, not the Bude school like you are used to. Now it's boarding. Now with the boarding, comes in the natural skill of bonding,
exactly.
Or else
exactly.
ostracized.
Exactly.
How was that experience of going in a boarding school at a tender age?
Boarding school, the way we were brought up was to, you know, a son of a soldier, you have to survive in all kinds of situations.
You have to be a soldier yourself.
In fact, it was more free time in the boarding school because you just wake up in the morning, you have nowhere to go and dig. You just wake up in the morning just to shower and go and sit in a class to study. So it was really interesting and enjoyed all my time. The school was called New Roga Memorial Primary School in Bombo.
Wow.
So it was an interesting one, and the headmaster used to take in looks on me specifically because my dad could always supervise. How is this? How is he performing? How is something like that?
Today you are into juice, which really in our patriarchal society should be a woman's job. And you are so proud about where you are, and you hold nothing back when you engage in your juicing. Does that tell us about how you were also brought up, that you were able to do anything, whether it's regarded to be a woman's job or a man's job? Can you peel matoke, make good ruombo? Can you do what people would say, this is normally done by women?
Like the way I told you, the way we are brought up, boy or girl, you could do anything. And we used to have duty rosters at home. Today, that allows you in the cooking. Today, you're doing this. Today, you're cooking maybe sauce, and so is doing this. So from my P3, I knew how to prepare very good food, be it matoke, be it anything. So in school, mom used to even bring raw matoke. And she used to tell my matron, Dalausi will do the cooking. At times she never liked us to take posho every day. So she brought raw matoke, and she was like, you can interchange, but he can do his own cooking in school. You can imagine P3, P4, child cooking for himself.
Whose utensils would you be using? Those are the matrons.
With the leadership skills, when I went to Bombo in P3, I was put, they used to arrange us in ages. In fact, ages, boys and girls, you used to have your own dormitory with special care from the matron. But from my leadership skills, I was in that dormitory up to P7. The matron liked me so much. In fact, I had my own room separate.
Wow.
As a leader, they used to call us dom fathers. So that is how it so happened. I became a dom father when I was in P4.
Wow. Dalausi, play your next song.
My next song is Winner by B2C. It also has a very strong message, more so to the youth out there. You never take anything for granted. Something can be a big something you can imagine. A winner, there's that first phrase. Indeed,
wouldn't have been a better way to select Winner by B2C. But also now I have an idea who your role model could be, since you still have your picture somewhere within your office. I have looked around his office, and I for sure now have an idea who his role model is. We'll be right back. Stay with us. It's Dalausi Lutale sharing with us his life story.
Desert Island Discs on 91.3 Capital FM.
Nkera kumacha nenerekereza ng'omutima omugazi era nze nengubikulaye abanjagaliza ne bansibula mukama ne musaba nnyo oluno oluleme kunsalaye ne bwe biba byakalubi ne wange gye nkolera.
Welcome to 91.3 Capital FM's Desert Island Discs. A very refreshing story when you are listening to a man that makes refreshing beverages, and more so fresh from the garden right into your mug, glass, or straight into your stomach. Because I've seen him serving some fruit juices from the fruit itself, Dalausi juice. But your true name being Lutale Dalausi.
Oh yeah.
You finish your education in primary school, you go to Chibuli Secondary School, you participate in school leadership, but there's always that one thing growing up in school that you want to be.
Exactly.
What was on your mind as you were going through your motions of school?
The biggest challenge I had in Chibuli, my primary wasn't so that good, I may say, more so in terms of being vibrant in English, that self-esteem, those village schools. So I go to Chibuli. This is a school where you could find girls and boys, sons and daughters to our ambassadors, ministers, big people from KPS, Green Hill. So it was a big challenge. I have no OB, I have no OGI. I had to survive for my own.
You arrived there was no one from the Bombo side.
No one from from your village. So you had to find your life in school. I spent, I think, my entire full first term without talking to anyone, because I wasn't so fluent in English. I couldn't find anyone speaking Luganda with me. It was a crime for someone to talk Luganda. People were so surprised. Oh, where do you come from? Introductions in those first days, Green Hill, you know, those big schools in Kampala. I think that is a way I was so hard on them also to become their leader, because I was a leader from my senior one, a junior prefect. How? There is a way you try to force your true character on them, and they could understand you the way you are.
Is that a skill you've carried forward, therefore, in how you're able to place the word Dalausi Juice on almost every event?
Oh yeah,
at the high table? I must say,
because one thing I can mention is right now I'm associated with like 17 different associations, different Chibuli Club, Kawempe Club, Makere Club, but I so happen to be like a chairman to like 10 of them.
Wow.
So that is a skill I can say that I've carried on even up to the economics I studied into the business of Dalausi Juice.
But why that Chibuli? Again, you didn't tell us. Yes, you may have been enjoying all these parks and leading people with an iron fist just to show them who is boss. You must have had something in mind you wanted to be. What were you studying to be? A lawyer, a teacher, an engineer, a doctor?
I was studying to be a lawyer, at the same time a politician.
What had inspired you to go the side of law?
There is my big brother. He's called Simon Kasyate, Fides Chambers in Kololo. He inspired me a lot. He's a good man with a very big heart. He's so friendly. He doesn't look the money he has, but he's a very big don.
And he is a lawyer?
He's a lawyer.
You said he's a good man with a big heart.
With a big heart.
And he's a lawyer.
And he's a lawyer.
He must be the only one.
Wow, he's very good.
No,
he's very
no
interesting. You need to meet him. You need to meet him. At the same time, my dad, he wasn't a politician. He was just a mere RDC. But I think he was the most serving RDC, because by the time he died, he had moved for over 30 districts in Uganda here.
RDCs are presidents. Presidents are politicians.
Exactly.
So don't say your father was not a politician. He was actually at the center.
So from his leadership skills, I used to like him a lot. And I must say he was my role model by that time, even up to now.
So lawyering and politics.
Exactly.
So you practice the politics. You know, you're honing your skills in school.
In Chivoli.
And you read so hard to go to law school.
Exactly.
Unfortunately, tragedy befalls your family, and you are away tending to your late father in hospital.
I wasn't being able to
did do the pre-entry. That must have hit you so hard like a thunderbolt.
Oh yeah. But I went back to Faizo and I told him, man, what's next? He was like, we have no alternative but going back to the development economics. That was the second alternative. I was so positive because I had done economics in my A level in Kawempe Muslim Secondary School, where I got 21 points out of 25. Yeah, so I scored an A in economics, and I was okay with the economics.
You knew that was
exactly. And from the background at home, there was some entrepreneurial characters. Mom used to have some poultry farm, and in holidays you could go sell the eggs, do this and this, go buy this, something like that.
So you knew the discipline of handling money firsthand. But Dalausi, there is also something about the schools you went to and other extracurricular activities that are not necessarily leadership. Football in Chibuli is what everybody eats and drinks. Did you ever play any sport?
Volleyball. Volleyball was my best. In fact, it was my campaigning point for being a Luangula House prefect and MDD. Drama. You know, I'm very good at drama, but...
I didn't know you were very dramatic. You maybe trust a few skits.
I'm very good at drama, and I can play any skit. In fact, with drama, I got a bursary in Kawempe Muslim Secondary School. By the time I entered in my first term, I introduced the Nkoba Zambogo Club, and there was a play that we had with my colleagues in Kawempe. The guest of honor by that time, it was Masaga's Masas. He was the Minister of Education in Mengo. He was very impressed and he gave me a bursary for 2 years. So in my entire Kawempe Muslim, it was a scholarship. Not from sports, not from anywhere, but from drama.
You put up such a good show.
Exactly.
And
He was very, we are 3 people. We performed some song and it was like, wow, Kavaka is going to sponsor you for your entire HSC.
So, in school, on a bursary, daunting course you're looking at, but let's not forget, you were in mixed schools. And as you're growing up, that's an age where you begin to pay a little attention to the other sex. Did you have that kind of run-in with going against some school rules, especially in regard to relating with the girls around?
In my O-level, Chiboli, you remember the inferiority complex I had before? So I was that shy boy who was just getting exposed to everything.
Yeah, but some of these girls now speak out a shy, good-looking young man, even though they have an inferiority complex.
Oh yeah, they used to, but what prohibited that was I was a leader in the Muslim leadership, that Kamsa thing. So we are the leaders who could take on those people who would do coupling in school. So there is no way
So you are the in charge of Sharia.
someone was trying to approach. But in my A level, now the shyness had gone away.
Yeah.
Now I was a very, I was like the other person who came from KPS now in Kawempe.
You had come from Chibuli, you had come to
From
Kawempe.
Chibuli now to Kawempe, so we are the sharp guys there. You're getting my point?
I get And so, tell us more. What did you use the sharpness for?
The sharpness was there, but still I had the home character of being that humble, disciplined leader in me.
And well done.
So when we introduced the Nkoba Zambogo in my first term, everyone was surprised. Who is this person getting a bursary in a row of years? No one has ever gotten a bursary in Kawempe. At least for some footballers, but in just drama and someone gets a bursary for 2 years. So everyone was looking out for who is that person. I think it so helped me look out for head prefectship, the votes for being a head prefect in Kawempe. Because the second term was that term for voting. We were 10 on the panel and people were trying to look up for. But you know,
extra something about you.
so there were 4 boys who were there in O-level in Kawempe. So you know that solidarity and patriotism for the school. You know,
indigenous people.
we need to get our OB to be the head boy. You know, those Chibodi boys brag around. You know, they will be caring for themselves only. Let's vote our OB. But I had support from most of the students and teachers. We saw a leadership skill in this boy in first term. We had his history. You know, they used to call
The school.
the school back then. Where are you coming from?
Is this one really?
How is this Lutale boy? They're like, oh, we just missed that. The reason as to why I moved from Chiboli to
As about
Kawempe,
us.
you know, with these leadership skills and being excited to new environments, my grades were not that good. I got a Division 1, but
On the edge.
on the edge, you know, 32 aggregates, and that is where Division 1 stops. So Mzee was like, no, Dalausi, you're too much in the leadership. You think you're going to be popular for that leadership. Let me change you to a new environment where they don't know you and you concentrate on your books.
He did not know that he had just put you to fertile ground.
So taking me to Kawempe, it was like a new opening for leadership now. So in my second term, out of those 10 contestants, I happened to be number 1 with a range of 500 votes to my next contestant.
No rigging, nothing.
Nothing like that. It was very open because definitely I knew people were in support of me.
Before you play your next song, we have heard that from Kawempe, then you went to the university. Unfortunately, shortly after you joined, The father passed on, and so it was a hard knock life, and then it brought about the birth of Dalausi Juice. Before you play your next song, would you say you are a natural born entrepreneur, or challenges and life have taught you to be what you are now?
I must say both. Challenges have made me what I am today. At the same time, it was born in me to have the entrepreneurial, creative, and leadership skills.
Wow, that's very interesting. So you play your next song.
My next song is Mama by Kiss Daniel.
We can now guess who you are dedicating that song to for sure.
Thank
Unless
you
you have
very
to
much.
change
Exactly.
And that's the song that you listen to almost every day.
Almost every day.
But also the artist inspires you quite a lot.
Exactly.
Say Dalausi doesn't listen to music for its beat factor. I suspect he doesn't also know how to dance. But he listens to music for the inspiration that the message in there gives him. And maybe that's also a word of advice that he passes to the multitude of you watching and listening to us on this Sunday evening.
Desert Island Discs on 91.3 Capital FM.
Yeah, cherish you. I stand for you. I would lie to you, but I feel like for you. In the night, girl, I'm down for you.
It's Desert Island Discs. We are with Dalausi Lutale. If you know Dalausi Juice, then you know the man behind it. I am even constrained to say man, and I don't want to sound patronizing, but look at what is before me, a young man. Others would even prefer to call him a boy. For the brand that he holds and has grown over the last few years, it is an epic masterstroke of not just marketing, but creative genius. Dalausi,
Yes, please.
you told us at the beginning of the program that this juicing thing started from two angles. Tragedy, as you looked after your father in a hospital, as he ailed away from cancer. Opportunity, when then you realized you had a little space in Wandegea at your sister's boutique, and people drank more juice than they took of the soda you were selling. Let's go back to that time.
Now, by that time, there was a challenge of, making juice demands a lot. It demands the blender, boiled water. Where are you boiling the water from? Even the space.
Even knew how you look like.
Exactly.
How you are dressed.
Exactly. So what happens? I had a room. I was sleeping in Mitchell Hall. Mitchell Hall with my roommate called Sentamu Najib. Actually, is my partner in business.
Tremendous.
From our room in B20 Mitchell. So I used to get all means of cutting costs. Mitchell is government. So it was government power and government water. So from my small percolator, I used to boil the water in Mitchell, slope down with the boiled water at the boutique in a jerry can, and then I used to make the juice. One thing that I had to note, and I learned a lot from the boutique, is whatever business you're doing, make sure you do not, you're liked by the community. Is it adding something to the community? Are you solving any problem in that community? So in the boutique, every evening I used to come to make the juice, because I used to make it at night, leave it in the fridge so that in the morning they can sell for me, those people who are in the boutique. So
as you study,
it was a quid pro quo. Help me, I help you. In the night after making juice, I clean the entire boutique, dust all the clothes in the boutique, and they find everything ready in the morning.
So they just open.
So I had to create a reason as to why they
should sell for you.
They should sell for me, and I should stay in that boutique.
And you didn't take it for granted.
I just didn't, because the rent was free.
Was for your sister.
Exactly.
You're making juice. A campus. Ngatoswa.
Back then in Kawempe Muslim Secondary School, you remember now I'm a sharp boy in Kawempe. After the campaigns, there was some girl called Zora. She was the head girl. So we used to have our own office. We used that office very well, to the point that she's the mother of my kid right now. From 2009 up to now. That is almost 10 years.
See, this Kawempe Muslim Association.
I love Kawempe Muslim very good, very much.
So for you, you took your leadership skills a little further.
To another level.
Extended the handshake beyond the
Exactly.
elbow. And the head girl is today.
So that swearing in of the head boy and head boy resulted into the swearing of I do for a husband and wife.
But you were typically the first family of there was the president and the first lady.
And the first lady.
Who was vice president.
Exactly.
That's a very interesting look at it.
So
when you were at university, the friendship was there.
Exactly.
And so she knew what
not only the friendship, but even the course. We were course mates at the same time group mates.
You really know how to safeguard your territory.
So we all used to have free times together and busy times together. So I had no any other thoughts for someone's going to see me, because she knew me very well, I knew her very well.
She knew this is what you were doing.
Exactly.
This is what the
and she was
was
very supportive.
Wow.
In fact, she used even to come and cut some carrots for me in the evening.
Wow.
Because we were free together, you know, after camp. Let's go and I cut for you. And my sisters knew her. You know, she's coming to help. Yeah. Like that, up to now.
Interesting. Does she now come around usually to cut some carrots?
No, it's now business.
She cuts them at home.
She cuts them at home.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's how you start.
That is how I start.
Your juice is not branded. It is just juice from a kaduka wadi.
A kaduka wadi. But from that kaduka, remember in Micho, in holidays, you're not in Micho. You have to go back home in the village. But now, Kasao, now the moment you go back there, people are calling. Yeah, Dalausi, tokoze ngotu isizabu. Yeah, tumye soda, washtojja nokutukamulirayo. So I had to force myself to come and I sleep in that boutique for all the holidays.
Wow.
Sleep in there, in the morning, go out there to sell the juice on the balcony. So after, when campus resumes, I go back to Micho. But in Micho, there were these canteens. Those canteens used to supply us with juice. But one day I went to one of them and I told them, like, you know what, Richard, I supply very good juice down there in one day. I'll bring you a sample and you test. I can bring you at wholesale price and then we get a way of doing business. That first time I took him a glass, he just called the person who was supplying him, in chat later. So I used to supply him at 800 shillings and he used to sell at 1,000. So it was his profit of 200. Remember, it's a hill. Borders are not allowed in Mook. So you have to carry that juice every morning from down Wandegeya to those different canteens in Micho. By the time I finished campus, I had 18 canteens I was supplying. Woo! But every morning I used to carry the jerry cans to those different canteens. I was doing the program, which was starting at 7 a.m. My friend, by the time I started juice, I had a 4.2 CGPA, but I graduated with a 3.6 because of juice. Now these lectures that used to start at 7, I'm there at 9:30, at the same time dozing, because the whole night you are awake, make juice. In the morning you carry, at the same time you have activities for the guild, you have to go and represent. So it was quite a hectic one. But at the back of my mind, my dad was a very serious man with books. And a very big challenge that I faced that time was very many phone calls that used to come in. You know, I'm the youngest. Dalausi, I want to talk to you. Dalausi, we need to come to my house and we talk. You know, Dalausi, there is a way they used to say it. Oli mu kibuga oyenga butunda. Bangambi oli mu kibuga oyenga butunda. Your lecturer called me, you're not there on time. They were expecting a first class from you. So it so happened that I had to listen to them at the same time, know what I want. Make a decision, because that person is going to tell you everything, but he's not going to give you upkeep every day. As a youth, I saw a certain pair of shoes somewhere. I want to acquire it. I need to take my girlfriend for a date. You can't explain all that to your brothers and sisters. Because they also called my mom. Mom knows that talk to your son. You know? There is a way it used to sound in a weird way. By the back of my mind, because my mom was like, are you really reading books? I was like, yeah. because my dad died with, so far there were 30 degrees and there were only 6 degrees remaining, and mine had to be one of the 6 degrees.
No
so
two ways about it.
no joking, no you couldn't
around.
be a mediocre. It's just books, because the only investment he had in his life, he was like, me, I'm investing in my children. Everyone has to have a degree. And that was his introduction everywhere. Dalausi Lutale, RDC, a Muslim leader, and with a father with over 30 graduates. That was his introduction. So I had to fit in that introduction as his son and last born. So I had a challenge that I had to go back, read more, again, reach out for my duties and responsibilities. At the same time, at the back of my mind, I knew what I used to get from my Jewish, that they used to tell me that, you know what, leave that one and first concentrate. So I was so pushed every day to go in for the Jewish thing, because people are looking for jobs, but 10,000 every day means 300,000 in a month.
Others will go to do a job and get 200,000.
Exactly. So I wasn't looking out for more, other than telling my partner, my roommate now, that, you know what, the thing is expanding. What we do, come and help me out. Let's cut this together. Let's blend this together. I reduce on the workload. He was so positive, and he came. We are doing the same course with him. We used to have the free times together to make the juice. You know, challenges come up. You're doing galley work, but you know what you're getting. So even up to now, he's my partner in business.
Wow.
He heads the production and I head the administrative work.
That's tremendous. But, you know, it's an interesting story. But I want to see how it moves from that boutique in Wandegea to this entire floor.
Oh, exactly.
In Wandegea. And the name is Dalausi Juice. And it has been on every function that has been graced, at least in the last 4 years.
Still at that boutique, people are used to the person making the juice.
Dalausi.
Dalausi, give me one glass. Dalausi. Lero Dalausi teyakoze. Mpaka Dalausi ako. So the name just came automatically.
Really?
Dalausi Juice. From there, in the boutique, I have a brother, Kin Kalisa, CEO Next Media. He was like, you know what? He came to support the sister in the boutique to buy clothes. He was like, I told him, like, you know what, brother? I have some juice out there on the balcony. Let me give you and you taste. A glass is just 1,000. You know how dons do it. Give everyone in the boutique to take. You also buy yourself a glass. So he gave me money for all the glasses. And he was like, but I have a dua at my home. Can you supply juice for 100 people? And told him, oh yeah, 100 people? That is 1,000 each. That is 100,000. I think I can. So he gave me 100,000 instantly. After 3 days, he called. Oh, people have increased. Now they're 180. What more can I add you so that you can fit my entire budget? Send more 100,000. He sent. So I got 200,000 in just hours of the dua. Remember, I'm working 5 liters every day at the boutique, and now I'm selling 20 liters now. You're getting my point.
And
to 180
was that
people.
gig
That was my first gig. But from the economics, I wanted to make this juice in a King Kalisa home that was very executive and corporate. You know, his people were those distinguished guests. So I was like, how am I going to present this juice in his home? You know, I hired a machine, a juice dispenser in a certain restaurant in Wandegea. From his money, I didn't get any single profit. We go to Nassau Road and made 2 t-shirts. I still have that photo with my roommate. We went and supplied juice at his place.
You made both 2 t-shirts, embroidered them.
Dalausi Juice, because it was the name they used to call there. And then we went there. We had a friend who used to drive. He helped us with the transport to Rosira. So after, people were impressed. Someone used to go, how much is that package? You know, I'm saying that was an introduction next weekend, but exactly the same way you've done it. You know, it was something new on events. People are used to taking sodas and water. So it was now a new presentation for fresh juice. I told him, Senga, now you're going to give me 800,000 for this. Because if the event is in Gwebaja transport, you know, now I know the challenges I've faced in making this. That is why I told her 800,000. So she was like, this is my business card. Come to Pioneer Mall Monday at around 1 p.m. We discuss more. Kindly come with a receipt. I had no receipt in my life. I had to go for a receipt at NASA, and then Monday, the madam gave me 800,000 cash. Remember, we are still at campus.
You have taken someone's 800,000.
800,000.
You have 4 days maybe.
Exactly. to make exactly the same package she has seen at someone else's.
Machines that are not yours.
Machines that I don't mind. I have no glass. I have no anything. But I have the t-shirts. And I know how to make the juice. So I came back. We sat with my partner and then we planned for that event. Serious planning. We even hired another second machine specifically for that event. So it is a job of referrals. Whenever you do something very good, product and service combined, you'll always get referrals.
Today you say you are able to supply and meet the needs of 25 events.
Each 500 people.
With 500 people each. In a day.
In a day.
Dalausi.
And all the machinery is now by Dalausi Juice, not hired. All the juice by Dalausi Juice and the service team.
And the bulk of your fruits, you grow them yourself?
Passion fruits. By that time, you know, seasons are different. We're out of campus now. Holidays, I'm no longer taking juice at the canteens. No events. You know, February is
a bit of a dry month.
It is a dry month for off-peak for events. So people are taking back kids to school. We have no jobs. You know that panic mode. What next? I'm done with campus. I looked up for jobs. I got a job at Ministry of Finance. I was there for 4 months and I was earning 1.8 net. What drove me from Ministry of Finance back to the business was a phone call from a certain lady who called me and was like, no, I need to meet you. Where are you? Are you the Michungwa boy? She called me Michungwa boy. I'm at Amaga restaurant. Kindly come and we meet. I went to that lunchtime break at Ministry. I went there and I found some big man with some escorts around. You know what? You're the Michungwa boy they told me about. Oh yeah. Now, how are your rates? How much do you charge? You know, by that time I hadn't gotten a proper rating for maybe a liter. If you're in this place, maybe if you have this number of people. He just told me, okay, I'm rushing, but let me give you a deposit. Event is in October, this date and this date. It's a 2 days event in Isinjiro. You know a village called Intantamche? And was like, oh, I've never even went to Isinjiro. Okay, finish everything with madam. That is your deposit. The deposit was 4M. Deposit was 4M. I don't know how much I'm rating. By that time, I didn't travel with a receipt book. I just wrote an acknowledgement statement that I've received the money. I went back to Ministry with a lot of desk work in front of me. You know, when you're something new in an organization, you tend to take up all the work. You know, it's time to
prove yourself.
Budget reading, you know, we need to finish these workshops. I was like, now I'm having my 4M here. That event is a 2 days event. I told my boss.
How much time did you have? It was in October. Which month?
It was in October. I was having 2 weeks to plan for it and go in for it. So I told my boss, but you know what? Let me finish this desk work tomorrow. Because now the mind was not on that work I was doing. So I was in policy planning and management. I told him, like, you know what? Give me some time. The next day I called him, I'm sick, you know what? Like, Dalausi, now you see what you're doing. So I went and got my other course mates in development economics. You know, they used to be my friends or the people I knew. I told them, like, you know what? you come and help me out to do this, because most of them didn't have jobs. We are going to Isinjiro. The man gave me 2 super customs fueled with a driver. They take me and they bring me back. Specifically to juice for those people. There were 500 people. So when we reached in Isinjiro, we served them very well. I got a tip, I think it was 180. Yeah,
Wow.
it's good work. This is nice. Oh, this is very new. I also have my daughter's kuhinjira. How much is this? I used to tell them 4M because it's the money that they gave me. When I went to say bye-bye to my boss, that was Mosei Toyota, he told me, you know what? Wait for me a little second, I give you your balance. I waited without knowing my balance. There is a way they do it, and the briefcase comes around. They opened and he gave me 3 million shillings. Now, this...
For you, all you had done, the 4 million had not even gotten finished.
Me, I was satisfied with what I got for the 2 days. I was so comfortable with even the tip I got from the people. So now this man is giving me 3M balance, which I didn't know of. Are you getting my point? My friend, it is a 9 hours drive from Isinjiro to Wandegea. I didn't doze, I didn't send any single word. Thinking 7M in 2 days. Oh my God, I think this can be good business.
1.8 million shillings.
And from that event, I used to get more events. I have a kuhinjira, are you booked for this date? I was like, hey, now this is serious work. The next day, I just called the person who referred to me to Ministry of Finance and was like, you know what, Mama? I think let me continue with the juice business.
No.
By that time, it was Miriam Chiwanuka who was the minister. They called me in a meeting. Do you know how many people are looking for jobs? Do you know how many thousands of people are graduating and they are having no jobs in Makera and other campuses? And I was like, I know all of them, but let me continue the juicing business. I didn't tell them anything that happened, but me, I knew
where this was headed.
If I get my K7M in a month, even if I get 1 gig in a month, it is okay for me. When campus resumes, I will sell to my canteens at MOOC. That will be enough money for me to collect my 1.8M every
You are
month.
giving me.
So from my calculation, I resorted to starting now being serious with the juice business.
Let's play your next song. When we return, we'll also see how it grows, but also the personality around you that makes it survive
Exactly.
and continue to thrive.
My next song, Anything by King Saha, is my very good brother. He inspires me a lot also. He's a young, talented boy. So
You love your music from the local guys.
exactly.
You don't want to tell us about Boys to Men, everything.
But there's Kiss Daniel, he's an international one, but the local artists, I love them more.
Wow, tremendous.
So
We'll be
Anything
right
by
back.
King Saha.
Anything by King Saha. We'll be right back, as chosen by you, of course. It's Desert Island Discs.
Desert Island Discs on 91.3 Capital FM.
Mori, baby, mubarungi, Mori, baby, mubarungi, Mori.
It's Desert Island Discs. Dalausi Juice, the man behind the brand, but also the incredible young man that chose deliberately to quit a permanent and pensionable job in government, and not in any other place or ministry, but the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, to go back and make juice and juice away. Literally speaking, he did all he could to squeeze the creative juice out of himself, and he's still doing that without a plea. Dalausi Lutale. I want to ask you what your favorite dish is before I ask you what's your favorite juice.
Wow, that is the most hardest question I've ever had in my life, because you know when you have passion in something, you go on depicting some few ideas, but my favorite juice is all the fruits and natural juices.
What about passion? When you have passion in everything. So I thought
Passion in everything.
Passion fruit.
No, not passion fruit, not specifically passion fruit, but because I have to taste on each and every juice that comes out.
But let's look at you as an individual. What gives you a good laugh? Do you ever have a moment to even rest? and laugh and enjoy life?
Oh yeah, I rest depending on my schedule. I get some me time, and for my family. It's just a little while. You just need to plan your day because every day is different.
What gets you angry?
Wow. What gets me angry?
Do you ever get angry at all anyway? You're always smiling.
I'm always smiling because I've experienced it all. I'm dealing with various people, different kinds of people with different backgrounds. I purely know how to handle human beings.
You have 270 what staff now?
287.
287 staff.
Some are part-time.
Even then, your juice is beautiful, no doubt.
Thank you.
Although you haven't served me any, and my
They are going to serve you.
I'm kidding. If you were to have a good dish, what's your favorite dish?
It's nuts and dry fish.
And what do you eat? That's the sauce.
That is the sauce plus the matoke.
Plus the matoke.
Yeah.
I knew we had something in common.
Shit.
That is my favorite dish.
Wow.
Matoke,
That is nice.
groundnut, with fish in them. But again, where do you see Dalausi juice in the next 5, 10 years, even 20? Do you think it will still be on our shelves?
Oh yeah, it will still be on our shelves due to the normal daily practices and the vision we have, because we are looking at being the best leading fresh natural juicers East and Central Africa.
Without preservatives?
Without preservatives. You know, it's something unique. Everyone is preserving, everyone is bottling, but the new pharmacy now is the natural fresh. It is the new pharmacy. So what happens is the value you attach to the product, because it has moved me all sorts of directions. I've met, I don't know anyone I've never met in Uganda. You get a phone call one day and they, you know what, we are receiving a representative from the Commonwealth, come and juice for us 2 glasses. Just for the representative from the Commonwealth.
1, 2
I
glasses.
supply all the 5-star hotels in Uganda here. I supply both the State House and the Palace in Mengo. So I don't know anyone I've never met to serve my juice.
And today you have met me.
And today I've met
But
you.
through me, you're meeting hundreds of thousands, perhaps even millions
Exactly.
of people listening to us and watching us.
But from the product and the service.
Absolutely. These are future customers, already existing customers. These are your competitors. These are your regulators. This is everybody that impacts your business.
Exactly.
Wow, incredible. It's been a pleasure having you on the program, Dalausi.
Thank you too.
Sharing your life story
Amen.
to the millions that are listening to you. It is an epic feat.
Amen.
But
Thank
guess
you very
what?
much.
Nobody escapes this question. I ask it to everyone that sits right there. Today is your turn. If you had a moment to get marooned, spoiled, or kept away on a desert island somewhere in this country, you know Uganda is a very beautiful country and you've been everywhere in this country. Where in this country would you like to be marooned and why?
Specifically in this country? Wow.
Our lovely country.
Our lovely country. I would like to be marooned in my home village. You know why?
Which one? Butambala or Kasao?
Kasao in Chitunku village. That's where I got the true values that I have right now. You know, when you grow up from a village setting, maybe different villages, but our village, you're not a son to your mother, you're a son to the entire village.
We are all raised by the village.
A neighbor can call you to dig in the neighbors. So it is not a matter of son to Hajat Hanifa specifically, no. It is a son to a village, the entire village. Exactly.
When you look back at that statement as we conclude today's program, many of us are shackled and are unable to show up for our true life's calling and opportunities because we fear such words. Loosely translated, you are just in town juicing and vending juice while your contemporaries are in class. Maybe it's the words that society tells to us that holds back.
Exactly, and that was just part of it. There was one time I entered into some bank, Cairo International Bank in Chikugo. The manager told me, like, have you seen that signpost out there? It read, hawkers are not allowed. I've taken them a sample so that they can support me buy my juice every lunchtime. But through the referrals, I got a phone call from some marketing manager called Aisha from the main branch. She told me, I've tested your juice on someone's event, but I want you to supply all the branches of Cairo Bank in Kampala every lunchtime. From the previous words from a certain branch, now I'm going back. You like it or not, you have to take my juice.
Because a call has come from
exactly. So those words push us a lot. They push us a lot. Now, for any family meeting, those same people who used to tell you that are the same people who stand up and they're like, oh, Dalausi, have a seat. Dalausi, I said something, oh, let's go with that.
Now you have a seat
exactly.
on the table.
On the table, on the table of men.
It's been a pleasure having you on the program. For you, our viewers and listeners, we don't take your presence on this program for granted. We are always thankful when you take your time off to listen to these life's incredible stories from folks that have distinguished themselves. Let's meet same time, same place next Sunday with yet another inspirational life story from a folk that has distinguished themselves.
Desert Island Discs on 91.3 Capital FM. Desert Island Discs on 91.3 Capital FM.